can I turn this horizontal? Nope. Orientation is locked. That's the direction we're going here. And I think, how can I set this up? Well, I'll have to edit this out when I get around to it. This might work. That's not too bad. Hey, thanks, Cole. Yeah, I had a full beard going, and then I was like, you know, systematically shaving, and I was like, mustache. Hang on, I gotta, what do you call it? Kentucky Derby party tomorrow. And so I'm going mustache and a nice little hat and things like that. I gotta have a stand that'll hold this up. Ah! Maybe this will be better. I'm just gonna unplug it. We'll go till the battery dies. Yes, 70 stash. It's Papa Stash 2.0. I had to go back and see what Papa Stash looked like back before he shaved. And he had a full handlebar thing going. Top Gun vibes. Yeah, right. All right, I'm gonna see if I could pull up comments on the big screen here. I don't know how to do that. I just did it for my phone. All right, so what's happening is that every Friday I go and watch Phil McKnight, and every Friday afternoon, and I'm always so psyched. And there's no Phil today. Noel, what's up? Yeah, no Phil McKnight today, and I was so bummed. And I was just finishing up some work, so I was like, I'm gonna go online and say what's up, see if there was anyone around. I know, Amanda, right? It's like I kept looking like surely there's something wrong, as if Phil has nothing else in his life going on, you know. Have I watched the Michael Thompson vid yet? Not the whole thing. I started to. How crazy when Michael Thompson plays, he sounds like a record. And it's not his effects and the compression or whatever. It's his touch. Everything that comes out of his hands is just like, wow, it sounds like a record. I have to look for, I've never actually been in his presence, so I don't know. Does he pick just really quietly? Is it just one of those things? Really, it's amazing. Amazing guitar player. I don't know how he works in that room, though. It's so messy, and this is coming from a very messy person. I would just have a panic attack in that room for sure. Back Nine Bruiser. Thoughts on the new Dream Theater album? I always am excited to get a Dream Theater album, and then I listen, I'm like, wah, 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 wah. I think it's cool that Portnoy is back, but I don't know. I love Dream Theater when they did like short form songs. Like that's my favorite still. And sometimes they'll do a song that's just shorter. And even more recently they'll do that. And those tend to be my favorites. And they're, when they go heavy, it's not my favorite either. I like when they do prog rock, sort of, you know, Images and Words and Awake. Those are the two albums. Oh, you know, the first like 4 albums I'm totally into. And then there's like a song here and there that I dig. But I haven't really, like, I listened all the way through, and then it just hasn't pulled me back in. So, I don't know. Gertha VP4 or quad cortex to run 4-cable method with a SYN 20 IR and Y. It's complicated. I need more time with Axe Effects stuff. I haven't had one for ages. I know they're great because when I've had the older ones, they were great. I just wasn't in the mode personally to like be all digital. And I have a quad cortex and it's great. I just don't usually run digital much, but for effects, I do like it. Which of them? I don't know. Between the two, I would say just go with whatever one is cheaper. They'll both work out great. The other option is Ampero, which also is cheaper and is great. You just have to get over the fact that Ampero doesn't do cool marketing like Neural DSP, and I know like Fractal doesn't really do marketing, but there's such a cool tag to that in the zeitgeist, you know? So like you have to get over that with Ampero. It's an import thing, but it's very, very good. Hey, super chat. Plexico, hey man. Thank you so much. Very kind of you. Happy Friday. Howdy, your Soldano reviews are amazeballs. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for watching. It's always, in all honesty, it's meaningful when anyone watches and listens to the videos. Appreciate it. And the Tyler reviews too. Yes, I cost you a lot of money, and then you donated to tell me that I cost you money. Well, I'm sorry about that, but thank you. I appreciate that. Let me see. I still want to go through the comments. Tyler, that just reminds me of something. You know, the tariff situation with China must have hit Tyler. I haven't talked to Rich, and so I don't know anything, but I just have to assume their JTG line is all Chinese made. So they had pre-orders and all of this, but at like 140% tariff to bring them back, an inexpensive Tyler goes right up to Tyler prices. So I don't know if they're hitting a pause. I saw some of the places that have pre-orders, it says pre-orders paused, and then anywhere else that either sold out or not available. I don't know if they're just going to sell them internationally and not to US customers, because I mean, how could they at this point? I don't know what they're doing. I'm really curious. That's just another one of those, you know, tariff casualties that hopefully something will change. Yannick, I've been looking at the VHT Deliverance. That's a beautiful amp, super underrated. Anything else to consider for 90s hard rock? 2203, yeah. Oh, if you haven't seen that Buddha Superdrive 45 video that I put up, it's awesome. Anything Bogner. Friedman Dirty Shirley. Soldano Astro. I mean, there's a lot, but if you're looking at the Deliverance, it's 120 watts of ball crushing stuff. What crushes balls? Ball crushing heft, we'll say. That's a great option. It's awesome and really versatile too. 2203 is great if you could get a good one. And it's kind of different. It's just going straight down the middle. Like, can't miss with a 2203. Session Gold, what is up? Oh yeah, Michael Thompson's H3000 modulator delay sound. I actually bought an Eventide Eclipse to try and recreate that stuff because there's a little more tweakability in there. Trying to remember if there's any of my like delay plugins that have done it. You know what's a great pedal for that is the Digitech hardwired delay. It's orange, I think. And there's a modulated delay that is my favorite modulated delay almost anywhere. It is really great. It's great to have that pedal around just for that. If you're looking for a pedal, that's a killer one. And those are not quite as crazy expensive as the reverb, the hardwire reverb, which is also great. I have to do a video on that. I haven't done it yet. I would like to compare it to the Lexicons. It has a Lexicon chip, and supposedly it's Lexicon reverbs in there. And it does sound very good. I like it very much. My wife is updating our calendar. I'm getting blitzed by calendar updates. Gonzalo, what's up? Hey, man. Cole, Michael Thompson video. It's in the Vertex or Mason. I think his YouTube channel is Vertex. When he interviews amazing players like he did Dan Huff and that. And I think this is his second round with Michael Thompson. So look up Vertex. If I could have anyone's rig, whose rig would I take? I would take Steve Lukather's rig circa like 89, 90. That transition right around the time when he went from like the X88 preamp into the custom audio electronics preamp. But I saw him several times in my youth, and that rig, wet, dry, wet, was just stunning. I mean, that room sounds so amazing. Oh my gosh. Paul Bradshaw, what's up? Oh, you have a cool little PB logo avatar thing there. Hey, Michael, great to see you here. Thank you. Do you have any favorite Sykes Blue Murder solos? Yes. The song, which is such a great song with just the worst lyrics ever, Sex Child. It's the worst lyrics. I sang them to my wife this year. She was just like, what are you talking about? It's so bad. I'm not even going to do them here. Go look them up. They're terrible. And when you take it out of context, it's bad. It feels like John was trying to do that David Coverdale thing that he's so good at. Is doing the double entendre and just tongue in cheek. But it just came out so pervy. And this is coming from a dude with a mustache. So super pervy. But the solo is great on that. So cool. And the groove is great. Those three guys just locked in. Really amazing. Gonzalo, what delay in the box gets close to the PCM42? I mean, there is a PCM42 plugin from PSP. It's close-ish. That I have a PCM41 video that I finished that I'm going to put out soon. I'm just waiting for a window to drop it. And then I'll do a PCM42. It has a particular sound. It's kind of big. It's not as hi-fi as maybe you would think. And I don't know if any of the plugins really got that, but it also sits really well in the mix. So when I'm thinking PCM42, strangely, I use the Waves H delay, which I don't think is anything fancy. It just kind of really does that thing for me. But there is a PSP makes a Lexicon PCM42 plugin, which I will show in the video when I do the PCM42 video. What's up from Texas? Hey, Luther. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming around. Ramalama Ding Dong. How do you like the sound clone feature on Ampero? Hearing mixed reviews. Mixed reviews, really? I thought it's one of the best. It's really hard to say which is the best, because I think if you did 20 captures of, of different rigs, different amps and stuff, you're going to get a non-consistent winner in that. Tonex is often way up there. I thought the Ampero was way up there most of the time. Kemper, when it's good, but it's not consistently good. It's just like, I think, an older technology. Doesn't make using a Kemper bad, because when it's good, it's still awesome. And then Quad Cortex. Quad Cortex, to me, doesn't always hit the ceiling of like, whoa, that was exactly it. Because when you nail it with a Quad Cortex, it's like, oh, yeah, it's pretty close to it. When the Tonex nails it, it's it. or, you know, we're going to take off a couple percentage because it's never quite it. But any of them, I could record with my live rig, 412 and stuff, and then make a capture, and a week later go back and punch in, and no one would notice. So I think the Ampero is great. 6120 orange. Why haven't I checked out the Mesa JP2C? Only because the Mesa stuff is expensive and I don't have it and none of my friends have it. You know, I started working with Mesa Boogie / Gibson, and we seem to have a cool vibe going, but you know, they're a big corporate thing, and they're not throwing me amps to try out and stuff, unfortunately. I hope they do. Andrew Raharjo, how's it going? Andrew, if any of you guys have vintage digital gear that needs repairing and stuff, Andrew is great at that. And he also is building a new tri-stereo chorus, which I haven't tried personally, but I know Andrew's work, and I know Andrew, he is like bonkers meticulous, like super brilliant at this stuff, and it's going to be dope. I've heard clips that sound amazing. So if you're in the market for a tri-stereo chorus, check that out. Community Kyle, thank you for all the demos. Thank you. Thank you very much. How is the Tone King preamp compared to the IRD, and is a Tyler JTG demo coming? I hope, like I mentioned with the JTG, I hope, but I know there's been some products that I've reached out to people and they're like, well, we're just kind of hitting pause for a second. Tone King preamp is amazing. One of my favorite things to come out in recent times. I do love the IRD as well. So the IRD tone is going to be fatter, thicker, just across the board, which pushes into the Marshall thing. The Tone King it's a black-faced Fender on one side, and then it's like a tweed on the other. So if you go to the tweed, you could dial in something kind of similar. They'll cross over the IRD and the tweed channel, lead channel of the Tone King. They'll cross at some point, but when you push that tweed too hard, it breaks up and starts to get sort of, you know, like mushy, almost like a fuzz. So it's kind of what you need, but you could throw an awesome pedal into the Imperial, and you could put the Dirty Shirley pedal into the Imperial and get close to that. Or you get them both, and they'll work together and be dope. Valerifon. Seriously, you should do an album. Thank you very much. I have done an album. I have it. And it's for sale. I just don't know how to put it out, to be quite honest. Like, do I put it? Okay, look, there's a bunch of people here. How many people here? Yeah, it's like 83 people here, which is awesome. I super appreciate it. I was hoping there'd be at least 2 and we could chat. There's 83 people here. I did an album. It's on my website, Michael Nielsen Music. It's called Songs from the Noisy Kitchen. A lot of it, most of it, is stuff that started as demos, and then I fleshed out into full songs. I got the best drummer in the world to play on it, and I replayed some stuff and remixed everything. Do I put it on Spotify? And then it's just like, poof, it's gone. Like, I have it for sale with tabs and stems and all this stuff. So it's honestly, it's kind of expensive because it has tabs and stems and all this kind of crazy stuff with it. But do I sell it for $10 on my website? Or do I just put it on Spotify? Or I don't know. I really would love to get some opinions on it because I have no idea. So I've just been sitting on it. And I've sold a number of them. Some people that heard about it or just fell into it, you know, So I don't know. I'd love to hear. Plexico got the Tyler MTG this week. GTG. That's what I'm sure you're meant to type. GTG only hits $40 per unit. Oh, how can that be? That's really interesting. Because I've heard from other manufacturers, like some of their products, guitar pedal related, amp related, literally, did that come out of my mouth right? Literally are 140%. Just double it and add 40 to where they're like, we're just going to leave the stock there. We can't even get it in. I'll reach out to Rich and see. Jonathan McCullough. Hey, Michael. I'm on the night shift at work. Oh, man. Anyway, tips on how to dispose of really bad drummer who lives next door. I've been watching this great show called Deli Boys. It's like Breaking Bad with two Pakistani brothers, and it's funny and like fairly lighthearted, but there's some dark stuff in it. And they say if you need to dispose of a body, you Drakkar Noir, that cologne, will cover that up. So that's my pro tip for the day. Don Lee, love the nailer captures for the Quad Cortex, the Quad Vortex. Are you planning to review the new Chinese-made Tylers? I hope so. I'll reach out to Rich and I'll ask him. Thanks. Yeah, the nailer captures came out pretty good. I have to do a video on it. I'm borrowing Michael Torrin's nailer Super Drive. And I reached out to some friends because that nailer thing, it's like this secret club if you have a nailer. Frets and Strings. Hey, thank you, Frets and Strings. My favorite Friedman. Haven't get Pink Taco V2 and the Twin Sister. Haven't I don't know what G is. Haven't got. And the Twin Sister. Plus the B Deluxe module for the Sin 20IR. Maybe those are things you have. So the favorite Friedman for me is the Dirty Shirley. Also the BE. The good old-fashioned B100 are my two favorites. But that doesn't mean that I don't love the others. So what I have, though, I have that BE100 that Dave made that has 100-watt Dirty Shirley and then the 100-watt BE100. And I have a Dirty Shirley Little Sister, the Little Sister 20. That's my Friedman's. And then I have the IRD, IRX, IRJ. And to be honest, I just got it noted. Andrew bought my album. That was very kind of you. Well, I hope you like it. It's not balls out metal. It's maybe in my head, I was trying to make, I'll come back to that. In my head, I was trying to make an album of the things that and a little more like Trevor Rabin stuff mixed with, of course, there is some heavy stuff in there, but one person was like, oh, I thought it was going to be all super heavy stuff. I'm like, oh, there you go. What I was going to say about this Frets and Strings. I had the Friedman Jake 100 here and a 20. And I was like, oh, and I was going to play a show. So I'm like, I really want this. And then I had the IRJ here. I was like, well, let me just plug the IRJ into the effects loop on these. And it sounded exactly the same. Exactly the same. So, I mean, I don't get free amps. So, when I can, I charge for my amp demos and stuff, which, but, my channel isn't like Fluff or something where, I don't have 300,000 subs that you could say, and I want to keep this amp. So, I didn't want to spend $3,000 on another 100-watt head. I just have a lot of heads floating around. So the IRJ was awesome. So I have to add the IRJ into my favorite Friedman there, frets and strings. That would be my answer. But if I had to take one amp, Dirty Shirley would be up there no matter what, against everything. Which amp hero, and does it work for 4-cable method? Yes. Sorry, quick aside. You have to... This is the 2. I think there's 2 that work in 4-cable method. And as long as they have the routing for it, I believe it'll work. That's how I had this set up. So this is the Ampero 2 Gen 2. But there's another one that's a little smaller that doesn't have the foot pedal that's actually cheaper. Super similar. That's in storage, so I don't want to go grab that. But that's what I would say. Bray amps are a great plexi style. I know of Bray amps, but I have never actually heard one in person. I know the price of Buddha's going up. There, when I was making that, so okay, that Buddha video, sorry, doing quick reading. So John Bingham, a very good friend of mine who works at Bad Cat, he bought it, and it was his amp. He brought it over. He's like, you should check this out. We put it up against the Nailer, and that Buddha sounded better. At least that day, we were like, oh, this Buddha sounds so good. Really awesome. And there was one for sale for $700 close to me, but it was back to the like, oh, that's a great price. Oh, you know what deterred me is that I plugged it in straight into the 412 and it was bonkers loud. It was so loud. There was no real bedroom level on that at all. It was just, let's go. So that's the only thing that really set me back there. I just saw as I'm going through best attenuator. The best attenuator is I'm putting Amanda as moderator because she's the best moderator ever. Amanda, you don't have to do anything, but I'm putting you there to because you're the best hall monitor ever. Best attenuator. The best attenuator, I think right now, is the 2 Notes Reload 2. It's great. Great. Before that, I would have said the Friet Power Station 100. 50 is, you know, they're almost the same thing. But the load box is the same. That 100-watt power amp is kind of nice. And I think in certain situations, maybe still the Power Station would be desirable because it's a tube power amp and it's, you know, Friet just knows his stuff. But man, having stereo, having like an effects loop, it's so transparent. The 2 Notes Reload is flipping great. All right, I see there was a super chat, and if I miss one, I'm gonna get to it. So sorry, and super thank you. I'm doing this from my phone, so I'm figuring out how to do it. Cole, this is fun. Please do more live videos. Thank you. I will. Thank you. Do I think Friedman killed the hot-rodded Marshall market? Remember Splon being a lot more talked about. Yeah, Splons were good, too. They're really good. Did he? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I would love to see the numbers that Marshall is doing on their modded Marshalls, their new amps. I don't know if there's all that much, like, I mean, I know they tried to hype it, and I'm sure they sound good, but shoot, man, you could get a Jake, or you could get a B100, B50. And now because they they keep coming out, and there's a lot of used inventory. You could get a used B50, and you just be smashing. And yeah, those. I think there's a little bit of geography involved. You know, like Headfirst, I know they have a U.S. presence, but them being located in Australia, I think he's kind of like the Friedman of Australia because of shipping and taxes and things like that. So, you know, maybe there is some of that. Fortin seems to be doing great. But I think in general, that modded Marshall market got gobbled up by Friedman. Yeah. I do think that is the case. Did I miss scrolling for super chats? It's like there's a timer on super chats. Plexico for the upcoming album release. Thanks, man. Thanks again. No to Spotify. Tabs. Yeah, I have tabs for all of the songs, which is as much for you as it is for me. Because when I go back, I'm like, how did I do this? Because at this point, it's like, you know, it's been a year, and I'd never go back and play the songs because I have some other new song to write. So yeah, I'm like, I've called up the tabs. I'm like, I got to relearn this. So I have some kind of repertoire, you know. I don't know. There's a lot of music to write. Michael Horwitz. Hello, Michael. Any recent amps that I demoed last year that you had to buy and keep? Headfirst, Third Power, Bogner, etc. That's a good question, actually. Okay, so because I wish I had room in this place for an amp wall, but I don't. And then you could see what I have and what I don't have. And maybe the live thing is good because it allows me to be a little more transparent. I don't think it's fair to say if I'm doing an amp demo, to say, let's say like a Soldano 30, for instance. I picked that one for a reason. I think that's a great amp. Amazing. Would love to have a Soldano 30, SLO 30. But I have SLO 100 and an X88. So, and X88 IR. So I'm not going to spend, you know, even if I get at an artist discount, I'm not going to spend $1,000, $2,000, whatever it is to get that. So, I mean, there's like that reason. And then something like the Headfirst, which I thought was awesome. That was so fun to play through. But it's in the world of like the Friedman stuff. So I just didn't need it, and I wasn't in a high gain headspace so much. And okay, here's another great example is the Snorkeler. So I get some information, inside information, and then it plants a seed, and sometimes it's not a good seed. Other times it's a great seed. Okay, yeah, I'm circling to the Snorkeler. The Soldano Astro 20, which I have, I love that amp. And I think he'd be okay me talking about it too. Like, I guess you could say I was like on the beta test team on that in its development. And so I had a lot of feedback. I couldn't design an amp to save my life, but as a player, I know, you know, I've been knee deep in this for ages. So I was able to go like, well, especially this is on the tech side. You know, I never would be like, can you change I don't even know what they're called. One of those little tubey things in there. But in terms of implementation and stuff, I could give feedback like, oh, you need to have a control for this, or it's too, really when it came in, it was too leaning on just high gain, and there wasn't enough of that beautiful Soldano mid gain and low gain stuff. So that was one of the things that they took my advice on, and which was great. So that was really special to me because I've been a Soldano fan my whole life, right? And so to have any input was great. if they told me, and I would assume there is, I heard, you know, I hear things and then it happens, it doesn't happen, that maybe there'll be an Astro 50 or an Astro 100. But if I knew there was an Astro 100 coming like 6 months later, I wouldn't buy the Astro 20, I would buy the Astro 50. Like, to me, a 50 on that amp would be such a sweet spot. Doesn't need to be 100, like 50 would be killer. So the Snorkeler, big head, one of my favorite sounding gain heads ever. It just, the minute I plug in, it does everything I love. It's like, it's got 80s, it's got 90s, and it's got modern stuff all in this harmonically rich, exactly tight enough thing. I love the Snorkeler. But Reinhold, he said this one thing that he's like, oh, and it can fit, the inside of the chassis can fit in a smaller box. And I was like, oh, I don't want a huge head. I want a smaller box. And I just haven't got around to going like, yeah, I want to buy the smaller box. So it's tricky to say. So I'll answer your question, but don't take it as like this one is good and this one is not good, because there's all these weird in-betweens, and it's a little more complex matter on things. So what do I have that I bought? I don't even remember. I bought the Angle Steve Morse because that was just so fun. It's got built-in delay and noise gates and stuff. But the funny thing is, back to what I was saying, it's not the best amp in the world. It just sounds amazing at low volume and is really fun to play. But I couldn't recommend to anyone that like, hey, you should get it because it's great. It just struck a chord with me, and it was something that I would sit and play for ages. So that was a big one. As I mentioned, the Soldano Astro 20. I've really not been in a gigantic head 100-watt mood, and it kind of because I've had a lot of demos coming through that has been amazing. So it's a little, yeah, it's kind of cheatery. That Diesel VHX I've had on loan for maybe over a year now, and that's rad. But would I pay? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. It's such a hard question. And believe me, I don't take it for granted. It's awesome that I get to try stuff. So, oh, well, yeah, and the dual rectifier, like, I was able to use my deal with Mesa is like I love that amp and it sounds great, but I got to use it for like 6 months, and I know right now, like, I have a ton of other stuff to do, so like I'm not gonna buy it because it's just gonna go in the closet, because I did a lot of stuff with it. I enjoyed the heck out of that, and I still might buy it because I miss it already. But yeah, I had to give that back to them. Man, I do miss that. Maybe a rectifier. That would be fun to have. Oh, can I just, will this go on the screen? Yeah, sorry if I'm not using this right. I'm not using the other software to make this work, but Cole Justison, I hope I pronounced that right. This is fun. Awesome, thank you. Please do more of these live videos. Do you think Friedman killed the... Wait a minute. Did I just go back in time? Oh, I think I must have pushed that. Okay, so now I think I hit all these. I'm going to run through a bit, go for maybe like 15 more minutes. See where I left off, see how far we could get. Yeah, I'm going to try to do a series, a couple of series. I'm trying to do the Rate My Rack series as the rack inspector, which is a fun double entendre there too. So if any of you guys have racks that you want me to rate, then please send me an email with your pictures. I want to do a little series, not unlike what Fluff does. I actually emailed Fluff. I talked to him. I was like, here's what I'm planning to do. It sounds an awfully like exactly what you do. Are you okay with this? I won't do it if you're not. He's awesome. I love Fluff. And then I do want to do more live things. Am I going to see Landau at the Baked Potato in June? I think so. I didn't even know he was there. I checked the calendar a little ways back and I didn't see him in there. But yeah, for sure, I want to get over there. If I'm in town, yep, we'll talk. So then, yeah, maybe we could get a table or something and hang out. Maxerator. Don't you think instrumental guitarists do too much solos? I'd like to see an instrumental metal album with all chords like a symphony. Yeah, I think that's a bit of my issue with guitar albums is that I get a little bored with the solos. So I like the solos to be like a solo in a song where it takes the song somewhere. And to be frank, I'm just not good enough to carry, like the way Andy Timmons plays through the whole song and it's a solo, but it's not a solo. And then he lifts for a solo. I mean, that he's on some other planet level. There are guys that can do that. Pliny does that really super well. So yeah, I think I look for hooks. So sometimes that's a little solo-y, but with guitar music, I tend to hear it. Sorry, ADD, so I'm jumping around. I saw another quote. I tend to hear it, I would say arrangement-wise, often like Satriani or Steve Vai, because that's what I grew up on, which is the music, a rock band music with a lead guitar as the singer, so to speak. But yeah, I know what you mean. There could be a lot, especially modern stuff. I'm just like, wow, there's a lot of notes, man. I'm kind of burned out. Fishbowl said, I knew you would say Sex Child. Yeah, it's the one. I think it was like song 2 on the album too, man. They just leaned into that. Oof. Jose G. Hey, Michael. Love the old pedalboard videos. Can you throw out an example fly rig that you had to do a demo of your album today? Yeah, and thank you very much. So if I had to do it, I'm actually building it. Mason from Vertex is, we're doing a video where he's going to build my pedalboard, so I had to put something together. And I had to break it down of what is the pedalboard going to be? The problem is always, and I think maybe a lot of people have this problem, which is why we buy a lot of stuff, is we are not on tour with a band or not known for one thing. So if I was in one band, then putting together a pedalboard would be super easy. But because some days I want to go metal, some days I want to go blues, some days I want to play all clean stuff, some days, whatever. I want everything. And I don't want to have a pedalboard that's I don't have room to have a humongous pedalboard like that. So this pedalboard, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm going to be doing a pedalboard that really speaks to me, and it's something that like I would use this. But aside from that, I think the amp that inspired me to actually like go, oh, I want to do an album was that Bogner Ecstasy 50 watt. Something about, I think it's just when I grew up listening to Bogner voiced albums or guitar tones, that Bogner thing. I felt, and I was like, it's fucking Reinhold Bogner. I'm like, holy shit, this guy he's watching my channel. So I felt really responsible of like, I better write something really good. And the song I wrote is called Acceptance. That's on Spotify. And I was going through some like a rough couple months in my mental health, emotional journey as a, just a person in this world. And it was like, oh, this is it. This is what I would kind of do. So I have put together rigs in the past, and I think it would probably maybe even revolve around that Bogner 50 watt, because the lead channel is warm, it's not overly bitey, so it's really nice for playing leads. The clean channel is so beautiful, and it's great for pedals. So I need a delay. I really like ping pong delay. I know the Andy Timmons delay is like super cool, but it feels messy to me every time when I'd use it. So I like a ping pong delay, stereo delay. So that's lovely. And I've went through a thing last year where I bought every delay, all of the big box delays. They're all over there. I'm gonna sell them because I found one that I love. But essentially, the Boss Roland SDE 3000. I really like that. I do like having a little reverb. I don't tend to use chorus. I don't know why. I like chorus on clean sounds, but my dirty sounds, I don't love having chorus on there. And then, yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on how dirty it is, but I do have, I don't know. I like a little fuzz octave. I like a little, I like a good tuner. I'm really enjoying, okay, I'm loving the VS Audio Royal Flush. I think that's great. And I'm loving the DJC Ultra Gain, which is kind of like a Bogner Ecstasy lead channel, or red channel, but it's kind of its own thing. So I'm super digging that. That's kind of what it would be mostly every time I play live, I don't end up using reverb. So, but a ping pong delay, stereo would be really nice. And then one of the Shabbat guitars would probably be it. I would take one of the Shabbats. Trying to convince him to build me another one. And you start playing a guitar and you're like, this is the perfect guitar. And then brings over another one. You're like, it's cool. And then you play it for a couple days and you're like, damn it, this is the perfect guitar. I could get killed. Douglas. Thank you, Douglas. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. So I'll throw this out. I don't know if I'm going to get to read all of these online. I have to go back and check. But I also have YouTube is complicated, guys and gals. It's really hard because it takes a lot of time. So I'm trying to make not it be my primary job, but I'm trying to take it seriously. So I have a Patreon that I'm trying to figure out what to do with too. And that I take stems. So it's especially if you like getting jam tracks of what I have, it's a way I could give you them. And I think I have like a $5 tier and a $10 tier. But what I'm saying is, if you guys ever feel like you're like, dude, you should have a $1 tier, let me know. Like I'm open to everything. I'm just trying to make this work, and I appreciate just being able to chat with people, so just trying to make it work. But emails are good. The best way to email me is through my through the Big Hairy Profiles website, because I see that really quickly. It's hard when you get like Instagram and Facebook and stuff. Like I try and find them, but sometimes they get lost. All right, I'm trying to go back in the chat here and see where we were. This was so last minute. Next time I'll make sure I'm more prepared. Let's Let's see here. Mark in the mix. I'm sorry, but can you mention that tri-stereo chorus thing again? I missed it. Yeah, Andrew Raharjo. Andrew spelt normally, as you would expect. And Raharjo is spelled Raharjo. And if you look him up on Facebook, I'm sure you could get in touch with him there. He's also he's in the chats there. I don't know if he's still here, but he's around. And he's making a tri-stereo chorus, and he's really good at that stuff. Big Dumb Walrus. Michael, do you mainly write commercial music? What is your composing area? Yes, I would say I'm a commercial composer. I write movie trailers. Just finished something recently. I mean, that's what we're doing all the time. Is I have a company called Ninja Tracks, Ninja, Ninja. So if you look up ninjatracks.com, you'll see my company. That's me, my partner Kaveh, and my partner Colin. And we have been doing movie trailers for 20 years. And so, yeah, all the like Marvel stuff we're around or in. The movie industry is a little wacky right now. I don't know. Should I post stuff when I have music in a movie trailer? I don't know. Sometimes it feels a little dorky to go like, look at me. But I mean, all of YouTube is look at me, I guess, really. And then I do score video games. So I've scored the last 3 Forza Motorsports and did a bunch of movie tie-in stuff back in the day when Green Lantern was out and Splinter Cell and a lot of stuff. So yeah, modern scoring stuff is what I do. I came from doing pop music and rock production, but the music I wrote, everyone felt it was like, oh, that's more cinematic. It should be more like movie stuff. And I would license my music into movies that just wouldn't get radio play because it was just a little epic. So then I realized I should be doing something else. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your name because I don't understand the letter sounds there. But hi, what is your opinion on the Soldano SP77 preamp? Do you like it? Yes, it's good. When it came out, it was sort of poo-pooed because it didn't have as much gain as the X88. And I think it was made in Japan. There's 2 versions. One was made in Japan, and I can't remember where the other was made. They sound different, those 2 versions, and it sounds a little different than the X88. But it is good. It's quite good. And if you're okay with putting just like a little boost pedal in front, you can get that full-blown Soldano thing. So they're legit. Now, I don't think, these prices on the vintage preamps has gone bonkers. I wouldn't pay over $1,500. There was a time where Soldano SP77 should be $500, $800. That's the world that it should be. It's $800. Yeah. But I mean, there is something cool about having a vintage Soldano preamp. Thank you, Guitar Talk Universe. Peters, okay, for the out for a month and then a bit of streaming or just Bandcamp. I'll look into Bandcamp. I didn't really look at that too much, so I appreciate that. Thank you. Powered by Coffee is my spirit animal. That's one of the names of the song, Powered by Coffee. Thanks, Timothy. Oh, shoot, I have someone I have to replace their album. He said he had his album out and his cat came over and barfed all over it. That sounds about right. So I'm going to replace it. Back bruiser. I've never tried the Boss Waza expander, to be honest. I got to the point, I tried so many load boxes. I tried to, at one point I had just bought everything because it was very important to me, that element, to be able to record quietly. And this was before the Boss had come out. And there's a time where they just sort of everything started sounding the same. Like there was a category of this sound, a category of this sound, and a category of that sound. And the Fryette I found was the best for me. And then everything else was like, okay, that's cool. Like the Sur is good, but I preferred the Fryette. The UA is good. Some people make it sound incredible, but I didn't love the load on it. It's kind of hi-fi. But if you make it work, you make it work. It's, it's pretty great. Or Deluxe Edition. Fishbowl. Okay. Opinions on Sir and Tom Anderson. I mean, they're awesome. It's such a personal thing. I see a Tom Anderson, and the first thing I think is I want that. And I have a Sir, and I never play it, and I wish I did. But I've had several Sirs, and they just don't work for me that great. They're so precise and tight, maybe. I don't know, but it could be great. I did play Pete Thorne's his actual guitar, and I was like, damn, this is nice. It was the 2 humbucker, his blue one. That was great. And then Tom Anderson's are kind of the same way. Like, they're great, and I love them, but I really found the perfect balance for me with the Shabbats, where they're at the level of Sir and Tom Anderson. Build quality and that sort of like precision. Everything is just like, but there's that vintage feel that I'm looking for. What I consider vintage feel. I'm sure Scott Henderson is very happy with his Sir, so he says it's vintage feel. That's, for him. Timothy Mossholder. I love the pack you're selling it now, as you're selling it now. The guitar training components might sell well as a course if you did some lessons video. Streaming. Oh, did I miss one here? Fishbowl. I'm building an HSH hardtail Strat. What do you like for pickups in that configuration? I'm assuming it's going to be a hard rocker kind of Strat. I've gone through so many pickups, and there are some great ones that I love, but if I had to just go, this is killer, you can really get a lot done here, it kind of goes back to the stuff that happens on a lot of the manufacturers, because they figured out the same thing. They're like, this sounds great. So I have, be right back, here we come. This Henrik Donhage Charvel that I went through several pickups, and I still am going to try out the Seymour Duncan Ingves in here. But the DiMarzio Super Distortion and the DiMarzio PAF Pro, and then a DiMarzio maybe Area pickup in there in the middle would be awesome. It would sound great. And then if you were to say, like, I don't like DiMarzio pickups, I would say get a Seymour Duncan JB and a Seymour Duncan 59 and another Seymour Duncan something in there. Unless you were like, no, dude, what I want is to spend a bunch of money and I want it to be like unique. Then, I mean, maybe the Lawlers, they also sound great. But I mean, you're opening a can of worms at that point. But if you were just asked, here's 2 options, I would go either JB in the bridge or the Super Distortion. It's really good, surprisingly good. Dakota Rolf. That's the best name. As someone who bought the physical and digital versions of the album, I'd love to have it on my streaming just to throw it in my playlist or something. However, I totally understand the fear there. Yeah, and thank you, Dakota. Appreciate it, and your feedback too. Henrik Sorensen. Oh, thank you for the CD love. Avoid Spotify. Your car noir is the worst. Oh, Amanda, that was my go-to in like 8th grade, freshman year. That's all I had. Oh, man. Diarrhea splatter. Do I have a John Sykes plugin? I mean, kinda. I made THU overloud presets, John Sykes stuff, but I mean, that's it. Sure takes a lot of strength in your hands. I have to really work to kind of get to that. I had to really analyze my vibrato and go like, I'm not vibratoing right. And I'm still thinking like, oh, I have to think about my vibrato to get the muscle memory to change to be what I want it to be. Love the Tonex captures. Any plans on doing captures as an official pack where you work with manufacturers? On Tonex, I don't know. The Tonex stuff is tricky. I mean, honestly, I want them to be great, so I put a lot of time into them. And I don't know if there's not a lot of sales. I mean, I did official ones with Friedman. But when the Kemper came out, because the built-in sounds in Kemper sucked so bad, you had to buy new packs. So that I was selling those, and they sold pretty well, and it was worth putting a lot of time into. And I tried to do it with the Tonex stuff, and it barely is worth the time. I think maybe, so 5 or 6 of them. But it's nice to be able to share, like the Buddha. I made Buddha captures for the Tonex and the Kemper. They came out really good. Valerifon. I didn't know, but I'll go to your site and order it. Well, thank you, Luther. And yeah, no need to say sorry. I really have not promoted it. Mark in the mix. I may have said that once of doing lessons on the album and teaching the songs. Maybe that's a good idea. I could have said that, but also you may have just given me a good idea. Gertha, SLO 1 and 2 modules versus the X88 IR. Yeah, the X88 does sound bigger, which is, it's just how I think a limitation of scale of trying to squeeze everything in. I mean, I think the modules sound great, but the X88, because it has the power amp emulation and everything in there, yeah, it's a little bigger. It's way more versatile, I would say, because of the clean channel and then the low gain stuff. I wish I never got to see any of the SLO modules before they came out. My feedback would have been to like make one of the channels a low gain channel, but they made them both high gain, which is cool because if you're on the Sin 20, you have clean and then 2 gain channels. It's great. Just, it's not, I love that Soldano low gain Mark Knopfler, Clapton, Tom Petty-ish kind of logo. I think it does it really well. So the modules don't really do that sound, and the X88 does. And then the rest is just function, being able to, you have plugs direct out. But, you know, you could kind of do that with the, you can do that with the Syn 20 and stuff. $61.20. Peter Ahrens, who did the Ampete, the new Slow, the Tone King Imperial pedal, new Bad Cat range, has his own feathers. Would love to get them to you somehow, as Peter is no salesman. Yeah, I know Peter. I talked to him actually just a few weeks ago about his stuff. I don't believe the Imperial pedal was Peter. Not 100% sure on that. Yeah, he definitely was there for the working on the SLO stuff and that recent Bad Cat stuff. He's a great designer, and he's brought over the fuzz pedals. They're great. They're really good sounding. So he has an octave fuzz that I almost jumped him and was like, "You can't take it out. Don't take it away from me." So that's the one I'm really looking forward to. Axis of Evil. TC put out 2290 pedal, though not exactly the same. I thought it sounded good. Yeah, it sounds good. It's a big pedal for a single delay line. That's a pedal that should have been half that size. It's cool, but they should do another version that's smaller. I was hoping they do a 1210 expander pedal. Yes, I would love to see that. Absolutely. I don't know if it was used so often, but I don't know if it's in the zeitgeist of current guitar players as much as a 2290. Zach's nice 70s mustache. Yep. It's full on. First Extreme album, Tone Thoughts. Any ideas? Yeah, I like that. It's not a great tone, but he's playing his balls off, so it sounds so good. I think it was 800, Marshall 800 with a rat pedal for most, if not all of it. Pretty straightforward, and it kind of sounds like it has a sort of nasal, sort of cocked wah inherent thing that I hear on the rat that I never loved, but I love the music so much that that's how I like to hear it. So perfect. There's so much good stuff on that first Extreme album. Yeah, mind-blowing. He nailed it. The SCF chorus is basically a 1210 in pedal format. Kind of, and yes. I have the SCF, the new one, and it sounds great. Really good. So I guess they probably wouldn't do a 1210, but because 1210's a little bit like two SCFs, but it's not even that. It's a little different. Dave Turner, I believe the old Two Notes Reload and the new Reload sound significantly different. I believe they went totally back to the drawing board. And that's just on the load side. I never had I did have a Reload one. And I didn't love the Reload one. To me, that load sounded like the Universal Audio load, which was more of a hi-fi thing. But the Reload 2 sounds, best I could describe it as transparent. It's just totally transparent. Guido, back to the 70s porn stash. Yeah, it may not last the weekend. It's going to get me to the weekend, and then I'll see. G-Man Music. The SLO video with the John Mayer Clapton tone. Thanks, that was really fun. I was surprised it was such a good tone. I really liked it. Sounded great on my Synergy SLO module. Oh, I haven't thought of trying that that setting there. Will racks come back? I mean, they're back, but will rack guitar rigs where people wheel in these giant 28 space racks? No, I don't think they will. They're too heavy. Basil Tiffany. How many amps do I have? I have my 1971 Marshall Super Lead, SLO 100. Synergy at Sin 20. That's 3. Does Kemper and stuff count? I have the Angle Steve Morse, the Friedman BE100, Friedman Little Sister, Soldano Astro 20, the Zuda GBG 120, the Bogner Ecstasy 50, the Rev D40, the Rev, the Joey Landreth combo. Oh, Princeton, vintage Fender Princeton from the 60s. Little Fender Champ from the 60s. Fender Bassman from the 60s. Oh, shoot, I forgot to count on my fingers. I lost track. I don't know. Is that like 10 or 11? What are my favorite speakers nowadays? You know what? They'll probably... Well, I do like 20-watt Greenback Celestians. I like a Vintage 30. Have I ever tried the EVH Greenbacks? I haven't, but I think they're supposed to have been voiced like a 20-watt Greenback, but I'm not sure. Controversially, like after the 90s, mid-90s, I never liked Eddie's tone. I always found it harsh. And there was frequencies that I just really disliked in it. So then I stopped. That's why I've never had an EVH head. And I know they're great, but there's certain frequencies that he was like, yes, more of that, that I never digged. It's tough to be relevant for 50 years with your tone and playing. Timothy Mossholder, Acceptance is such a moving song. Thank you. Played in the morning to my daughter over coffee. That is very kind of you. Thank you. Why did I choose... Douglas. Hey, Douglas. Why did you choose API mic preamps over BAE, Neve, Rupert Neve Designs, etc.? Looking to make a purchase soon and would appreciate your input. Mainly a 57 421 mic combo for guitar, but also something awesome for rock vocals. BAEs were great. Well, okay, let me rewind. My next door neighbor had a pair of vintage 1073s, so I got to use them a bunch, and they sound great. And then I worked at a bunch of studios that had vintage API consoles and Neve consoles, and they both sounded great. And the APIs, when you just look back at like albums that were historic, the APIs are in there a lot, and Tridents are in there a lot. Actually, much more than Neves. Neves were more of like on the mixing side, although there was a lot of great stuff made at Sound City, and that was Neve. But just going back in history, so like the APIs hold up great. If I was to say a typical Neve has a deeper, lower extension bottom end than the API, but the API, if you cut off that super low end that you don't need on electric guitars, it has a stronger, more like punch and a little more focus in the mid-range, which I love. Both sound great on vocals. A good buddy of mine he has a company called Overstayer. They make some pretty like amazing stuff. He created some mic preamps that sound like APIs but have the extended bottom end, and so I now that he made for me. And currently the APIs are in the closet. I was using them a bunch, and then I just needed the rack space, so I put my overstairs back up. So that's sort of the best of both worlds. But there's so many good sounding preamps, and it matters a little less than I think everyone felt like it mattered 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Like a good mic pre is a good mic pre, and that you could get them. The Rupert Neve stuff's great. Yeah, I mean the BAE stuff is great. Khalil Habib, hey, love your channel. Thank you. I see you in the comments a lot. I appreciate that. Thank you. Purposeful porpoise. I need a tear for the pores. 25-cent tier. Oh, you got it, dude. Josh 5150 got a 101B. Bogner, any tips? Oh man, congrats. That's awesome. Any tips? I don't know. Maybe you have to run the treble louder or higher than you think. I don't know. That's a great amp. Congrats. I have a video from like 5 years ago. You can always look at those settings because every time I go back, I don't have the full-blown 100-watt 101B. I sold that years ago, and I'm like, why did I do that? I had like 3 or 4 heads, and I'm like, I don't need 3 or 4 heads. It's too many. So stupid. I would like to get that again. So good. But you could look at those settings because I always thought like, ooh, that sounds so good. Thank you, Khalil. Appreciate you, man. All right, kind of wrapping up. Sometimes my ears start getting hot when I'm streaming live. Does that mean I'm getting radiation from my phone? Sean Gaskin Music, hoping for SLO and Jubilee profiles for Tone X from you. Yeah, I just noticed. I'm like, oh, I don't have SLO profiles, but I think that's because when I did my SLO Kemper profiles, there were no Neural DSP SLO plugins. There were no Synergy stuff. It was just like, it was hard to get a SLO sound. And then there was a flood of it. And so I felt like maybe it's not needed. Carl Karsnark. As a guitar player, how was I taught to see or visualize the neck? Triads, cage, 3-note per strings, cheers. The answer to that is A minor pentatonic. And that's kind of serious. Because when I was a kid, and that's, high school or whatever, it was guitar magazines. So it was like tabs and minor pentatonic, which was not really great for learning the neck. And I also am mildly dyslexic with the letters and stuff. So they sometimes like, does G come, it moves like F and G and A, like the order of which they appear. When I think about them in just letters, they move around. And I'm like, oh shit. And I'll focus on it and go, yeah, okay, that's right. And then it's like you blink and you're like, nope, that was alternate universe. That's not where the F is. So I have to look at it geometrically, which is totally fine. I find, so over the years, I've had to completely relearn how I visualize it. Learning piano and having to spend so much time on the piano was really important for that. So honestly, that's how I visualize the neck now, is in terms of how I visualize notes, scales, modes, is really more piano than guitar. But the names and stuff, like I know all the notes on the neck and that. So when I sit down and do it, I guess you could say caged because I see the chords. That's the easiest way to see a big group. Yeah, so I guess that would be the easiest answer, is probably something like caged. But since I had such a strong upbringing in pentatonic, it's caged wrapped in a pentatonic blanket is probably how I visualize it. And then the note extensions and chord extensions, they are treated as such in my head, of like, all right, it's caged and pentatonic stuff, but if you want to add the ninth or something, you're bringing that into the party. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up soon. I can hear my family outside the door. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Marzia's are great. Jeff McErlane, hey man. I know you know this, everybody, because Jeff has a big channel and is amazing. But I mean, and played with Robin Ford and that. But if you ever see Jeff rip some Yngwie, it's incredible. Yeah, go find that stuff. So cool. Ian, oh yeah, Thornbuckers with a V60 in the middle. V60 is my favorite Suhr pickup, single coil pickup. And the Thornbuckers, I guess, would be my favorite of their humbuckers. I think that sounds really good. The Landaus, I thought were going to be my favorite, but they're very open and very bright. So much so, it was like, ugh, shocking. It made all my amps sound too bright for me. Amanda, back to the Jacquard Noir. Red House Tracks. Michael, your rock mixing course is great. It was interesting to see your thought process when riding along with mixing tips. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so I've asked probably 5 people, like, can you please give me some feedback on this? Because it's a course, but it's not a course. It's sort of like if you were just to sit with me and let's make a track, and I'll go through the whole thing and what I'm thinking and how to arrange the riffs, and then where do you get drums from and all of this stuff. So I don't know if anyone likes it or not at all. So that is the first feedback I've gotten on it at all. So I appreciate that. And I would love it. I'm as a commercial composer, half of my life is feedback saying it's this, do this instead or do that instead. I have thick skin for that. So if someone was like, oh, I was expecting this, like, great, let me know. But thank you very much for the feedback. What do I think of the Future Factory delay? Great. Everything they make is very good. I had their chorus for a while and it was like, whoa, that's amazing. Yeah, and I thought about getting the Halo core. Well, that's pretty cool. Angus, what's up? Yeah, Angus is the man. There are a few people that look so cool on stage. Like Angus just, it's like he was born to look badass on stage. So cool. Ryan, Cass. Well, dude, thank you. I'm gonna go get a nice coffee tomorrow on you, Ryan. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Michael Torin. Yeah, we could thank Michael Torin. Michael Torin keeps me in the gear for reviews, and I'm trying to do more reviews that are not new products, that are like, buy this, and that are just kind of fun. I guess there's stuff that you can't buy for the most part. I can't buy either. But Michael Torn is a great gear hound, and he's found some amazing stuff. So I have a bunch of stuff at my house right now from Michael that I'll be working on in the next month or so, and try and get those videos out too. So thank you, Michael. Louis, I sent your video of the John Mayer SLO1 settings to my buddy, and he loved it with his. Awesome. Yeah, it's good. Those are good settings. John Mayer knows what's up. Do I know the Black Widow MGP1A? It's not new, but still quite unknown yet and awesome. Yes, I played it at Michael Torrin's house, and it was really good. I have this suspicion maybe that, like, yeah, I mean, that it was going to be a hard thing to keep going as a business, so I don't know if they're even still in business. I'll have to look. But they're cool, for sure. All right, gang. Hey, thank you. I mean, absolutely no advance warning, and it's so nice to have anyone here to talk to, much less so many people. I really appreciate it. And Plexico, you are just so generous today. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's really nice. Love the Astro 20. Thank you. Reviews are terrific. Wow. I feel very appreciated, and just coming to hang and chat. I appreciate it, gang. We'll talk to you soon. I'm trying to crank out videos, and even some of the shorts. Putting out shorts so I could do things, get them out there. If there's anything ever you want to see too, let me know. I try. Have a great weekend, everybody. Be well.